everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Hmm.
Today we're tackling something that's honestly pretty crucial in the world of clinical trials,
Ugh,
managing those finances. And guess what? It's not just about crunching numbers, it's about something way more dynamic, keeping those communication lines buzzing.
that's right. And we've got a great resource to guide us today. This insightful article from the Global Costing Task Force.
Definitely. And they make it super clear. Open communication is the key. We're talking sponsors, sites, vendors, everyone working together in sync and on the same page. So let's unpack that, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay, so the task force kicks things off with this really cool analogy. They call it the budget talk show. Could you break that down for us? What's the idea there?
Sure. Well, think about a talk show, right? You have a host who keeps things moving. You've got your guests who are there to share their insights and perspectives. And then, of course, you have the audience who are actively engaged, listening, responding.
Right. It's all about that back and forth energy.
Exactly. And that's what the task force is getting at here. They're saying that managing finances for clinical trials should have that same vibe. It's not just about one person or one team calling the shots. It's about bringing everyone together for a dynamic conversation about the budget.
Got it. So it's like creating a space where sponsors, sites, and vendors can all have a voice, share their input, and collaborate on finding solutions.
Precisely. And they even go on to say, nothing says team player like keeping everyone on the same page and maybe even cracking a joke or two.
I love that. It injects some fun into what can sometimes be a pretty serious topic.
Definitely. But on a more serious note, they make a really compelling point about the benefits of this talk show approach, and they go beyond just, good vibes.
Oh, for sure. So let's dive into that. What are some of those tangible benefits of proactive financial communication in clinical trials? Why does it matter so much?
Well, for starters, think about the costs. Delays, overruns, misunderstandings, they can all drain your budget fast. And often, you know what? These issues stem from communication breakdowns.
Makes sense. If one team isn't aware of a change another team made, things can get messy quickly.
Exactly. But when everyone's in the loop, potential issues are flagged early on. Like, say a site is about to go over budget. If they're communicating proactively with the sponsor, they can address the issue before it snowballs into a major problem.
Right, it's like preventative medicine for your budget. Catching those little warning signs early can make a world of difference.
Absolutely. And there's another side to this, too, that goes beyond just the numbers. We're talking about building trust and stronger relationships between everyone involved.
Oh, definitely. When everyone feels heard and respected, it fosters a much more collaborative environment. People are more likely to work together effectively, share information freely, and feel invested in the trial's success.
Couldn't have said it better ourselves.
So we've talked about the why. Now let's get practical. What are some concrete steps our listeners can take to improve their own clinical trial financial communication?
The task force highlights some great starting points. They really stress the importance of having those regular meetings or calls with all the financial stakeholders.
Makes total sense. It creates a dedicated time and space to discuss everything budget related. So think of it as your budget talk show in action, like we talked about before.
Right. It's a time to share updates, discuss potential challenges, brainstorm solutions together.
And what about tools? Are there any specific tools or resources they recommend to help streamline communication?
Absolutely. Visual aids can be super helpful. They suggest using things like shared dashboards that track key financial metrics.
I love that idea. It's like giving everyone a clear visual snapshot of where the budget stands at any given time.
Exactly. And you can customize these dashboards to highlight specific things like, a site's spending against its budget or potential overruns that need attention.
It's all about transparency and making sure everyone has access to the same information, which can prevent a lot of those communication mishaps we were talking about before.
Exactly. And it keeps everyone accountable, too, when you have that visual representation right there in front of you.
Definitely. And what about fostering that culture of open dialogue, where everyone feels comfortable speaking up? How can we encourage that?
That's such an important point. They stress that everyone on the team should feel empowered to ask questions and raise concerns about the budget. Like if something seems unclear, don't hesitate to speak up.
Right. It's that age-old saying, there's no such thing as a stupid question, especially when it comes to something as crucial as your trial's finances.
Exactly. And when people feel comfortable voicing their concerns, it helps prevent those misunderstandings from festering and potentially turning into bigger problems down the road.
It's about creating that safe space where people can bring up issues without feeling judged or dismissed.
Absolutely. And this is where training comes in.
Oh, right. Because having the right tools is one thing, but knowing how to use them effectively is another.
Exactly. So the task force emphasizes the importance of providing teams with the right training on how to use these communication tools effectively. Whether it's, a project management platform or a financial dashboard, make sure everyone knows how to navigate the system, understand the data, and contribute to the conversation.
It's like giving them the keys to the car, but also making sure they know how to drive.
Exactly. You're empowering them to be active participants in the process, not just passive observers.
And all of this ultimately leads to smoother, more successful trials.
Absolutely.
So to wrap things up, I think the task force hits the nail on the head with this idea that open communication isn't just a nice to have, it's a must have for effective clinical trial financial management.
Couldn't agree more.
So for all of you out there managing those trials, remember, it's about creating that budget talk show environment, a space for open dialogue, collaboration, and shared accountability. And remember, keeping those lines buzzing can make a world of difference. Now, as you continue your work, here's a final thought to ponder. How can technology be better leveraged to facilitate even more open communication and transparency in clinical trial finances? Until next time, keep those conversations flowing.
See you then.
Bye, everyone.